Welcome to Podtendo, a Nintendo podcast, where they analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. Hey guys, welcome to the Podtendo podcast, where we analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. We can be contacted on Twitter at Podtendo Podcast. Email us at podtendo@gmail.com. We're on the other socials, some variety. We are a review, retrospective, pop culture-y, let's play show. We're going to do all those fun things. I'm your co-host, Mick, and I'm joined every episode by my lovely and talented co-host,
Tyson.
Nice. We got through it. We survived.
Yeah, we're on the other side of the mountain for Final Fantasy VIII, so,
And it was well received, I realize everybody understood that we actually love Final Fantasy VIII, and I'm just here to set the record straight that we love it. We think it's one of the greatest games of all time. We did it. We might even go back and just extend the series at some point, because it was obviously part 3 that we hated on was our April Fool's joke this year. Get it?
Yeah. It's a good joke.
It was that's the joke.
Perfect.
When I uploaded it and I saw it was released on April 1st, I was like, that's a shame. We really should have pretended to really like the game.
Yeah, that really dropped the ball there.
Oh, big time. Right? Yeah. I'm a little disappointed with our efforts. Had we had the foresight to look at the release date, because we could have spent 10 minutes talking about why it was the greatest game ever.
Yeah, oh man, we could have definitely spitballed. Now it's that's just sarcasm for days. We could do a whole 2-hour special on sarcasm.
Yeah, I know. It's a darn dirty shame. Oh well.
Next year. That's a missed opportunity. But
the best part about time or years as much like time, they always kind of go around in circles. So we'll catch it next time. No biggie.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's not baseball. You don't get 3 strikes. It's It's pretty. There's a lot of at bats.
Yeah, it's circular. It's like cricket. There's circles. All right, but we're on to a new game. This is a numbered show. It's not a retrospective or a side project. Although we do have a fun one coming at you in 2 weeks. I don't know if we've ever announced it. No one cares. It pops up. Whatever. Who cares? We get to play a numbered show. It's pretty exciting. We're at show 105? Is that right?
Sounds about it. I don't know. We've done so many side tangents, and now it seems like our main show is kind of hey, here's the side show, not a side quest cinema or something.
What, do you think our main numbered shows? I always think these are the big ones. We're at 105 today, so pretty exciting.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they're all good to me. So.
All right. Okay. All right. I was gonna say, well, you don't like our numbered shows. These are our babies.
Oh yeah.
It's all the other tangential stuff. I'm I don't really care about the retrospectives as much.
Oh no, it's all good to me. It's all good. I enjoy every minute of it. So.
Well, I had some free time. I have some free time later today, and it was a couple weekends ago, and I listened to our whole Final Fantasy VII retrospective. I think it holds up. I might do Ocarina of Time, Zelda 64 at some point.
Yeah, we should probably re-listen to Breath of the Wild Chronicles and resuscitate that series.
This is never going to happen. I've now tried several times. No. Maybe after our next project. Anyways, on to today's show. So there you go. So we're on to our numbered show, 105. We are playing Legend of the Mystical Ninja for the Super Nintendo. It was developed by Konami, released February 1992. It sold less than 1 million copies in North America. How long to beat has this game at? About 4.5 hours. It's probably pretty accurate. Price at release was $50. If you factored in inflation, that's $80. $1.64. That's a weird way of reading that. Today, specifically. On eBay, you can get a copy of this game for $20. And there's maybe a nicer one for $70. And on eShop, I think you can buy it on the Wii U, which means it's $7 or $12. Neat.
And 3DS, I think.
And the 3DS, but only in Japan, I see. So you can use the original cartridge. There was a Game Boy Advance release in Japan in 2005. It was released on the Wii, Wii U, and 3DS stores, though only in Japan for the 3DS. Neat.
Yeah, well, I think this is kind of a shame. This is always one of those rental store games when rental stores were a thing. The box art would be very Like it jumps out at you and you're like, I'm playing this game with a giant tiger. It's just what's happening.
I guess that is what's happening. Yeah, we should definitely play. What's that one called? ActRaiser? I feel like that's always one of those ones that's like kicking around on like our to-do lists, and I'm like, oh, we should get to that.
Oh man, the to-do list is so freaking long, and us being nostalgic, obsessed nerds, it's hard not to just like, but with this game, but these other games that I played maybe once or twice, I need to play the entire series now. So
you're right. We should play Squat Cats at some point too.
Oh, don't get me started. Then we could do the cartoon.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Screw this game. We're gonna do other stuff today. So get out of here, Mystical Ninja. Just kidding. Just kidding. Because obviously we love you, the Legend of the Mystical Ninja. But before we can talk more about this fantastic game, I want to know what the heck was going on in the world in February 1992. So we're going to jump into our patented Wayback Machine before we do anything else, and we're going to explore this pop culture landscape. So we're going to start out by asking, Tyson, what was your favorite show? Would you rather watch The Simpsons Season 3, Episode 12, Homer Alone? Marge heads to Rancho Relaxo after suffering a nervous breakdown. Her absence shows off her importance to the rest of the family. Or Eek the Cat, Season 1, Episode 1, Miss Eek? Eek swaps spots with an old lady's cat to try and get something to eat. After her abuse becomes too much, he returns to his family, realizing how much they want him.
See, now this one is probably, most people, if they know me, they would assume that I would probably go with the one with the cat. But this is kind of like one of those shows where they just treated their like protagonist really poorly. So that was always like hard for me to get into as a kid. And I always remember like, oh, Eek the Cat's on, and then watching it and just wanting to change the channel as a child. So I think I got to go with The Simpsons but also it's a fantastic episode with Troy McClure.
Yeah.
It's just priceless. That entire episode is just ingrained in my mind. It's so good. So gotta go with The Simpsons.
Congratulations, The Simpsons. Well, that was an adventure, ladies and gentlemen. What just happened? An unskippable commercial, and then it just jumped like 40 seconds into the song, because apparently I had watched that video before on this phone, and it just assumed it's like, oh, you want to pick up where you left off? All right. I know it's been a couple months, but all right.
Hey, you know exactly where you left off. Let's pick that up.
Yeah, I see you haven't been using this phone for a while, but you probably means you've been using this phone every day, so let's just pick up where you left off, all right?
Yep, 100%. Oh, well.
All right, let's see. So other TV shows, you're like, the only reason I even know of Eek the Cat, I don't know if I ever watched it, was for some reason we had like trading cards of Fox Kids. Because I remember like a Bobby World one, and there was X-Men, and we had an Eek the Cat. But like I couldn't tell you anything more about them than the fact they had like weird trading cards as promotions for Fox Kids.
Yeah, that's weird. Why were those a thing?
I don't know. Because we keep everything. We never threw anything away. I probably have them in binders in my basement right now at some point. So I don't know what an Eek the Cat rookie card goes for, but I have one.
And probably a Sharky too.
Good old Sharky. Top TV shows you could be watching if those shows don't tickle your fancy are Seinfeld, Melrose Place, The Golden Girls, Full House, Roseanne, The Cosby Show, and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You're like, adult shows. No thanks. I want cartoons. You can see The Addams Family, Batman, Capital Critters, and Conan the Adventurer.
Interesting. I don't know. I remember The Addams Family and Batman, but not Conan, and I don't even know what Capital Critters is.
It was like a weird show. It was somebody's answer to The Simpsons. So it was kind of like an adult cartoon, but it wasn't really like funny or like commentary. I don't know. I listened to this like nostalgia show, and I think it's 30 years old. So they were talking about Capital Critters. You're like, all right. So we're like, no, we're not sold. The TV right now is terrible in '92. But what about movies? What can we see? Stop! Or Mom Will Shoot. Sorry to startle you, but there is an exclamation mark, so you have to say it with exclamation. Wayne's World also came out. Oh, party on. Medicine Man, Final Analysis, and that's it. All right, awesome. So Wayne's World, 30 years old.
All day.
Yeah, 30 years old. Probably, are we? Man, we're like almost doing a game that's 30 years old almost exactly. Weird.
That is crazy.
It's
just like nuts to think that Wayne's World was that long ago. But yeah.
Just don't ever look in the past, otherwise you realize how old you actually are.
Oh yeah, don't look at dates. Just forget all that stuff. I know you have to learn it in schools, but just blank that out as soon as you can.
Wayne's World. So other video games that came out, specifically in 92, I couldn't find anything. I think maybe in like 93, 94, they start giving you a bit better release. 92, still the Wild West, especially for video game releases. So this year we got Dune 2, Wolfenstein 3D, Super Mario Kart, Alone in the Dark, Contra 3, and Sonic 2.
Interesting. I like the Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart. I feel like this was like just a massive game for us, and Sonic 2, but did we talk about this? So we obviously must have been in this area at some point.
Yeah, it came out in 92 at some point. I mean, I imagine if I dove more into it, you'd like the Link's Awakening or something like that, right? Super Mario World came out maybe in like certain territories, but specifically February. And I think I found some music, and I don't know if I've heard these ones before, so pretty excited. According to the Billboard charts, last thing we're going to do before we leave in our time machine is we're going to see what are the top most popular songs. The number 3 most popular song, according to the Billboard charts right now, was All for Love by Color Me Bad. All right.
I don't entirely remember this song, so yeah, but it makes sense given the time frame. My brain was probably still forming at this point.
Well, I mean, some would argue it's still forming to this day.
Yeah, well, and some would argue that it stopped forming a long time ago, so.
All right. This next one is tough to find. Oh no, I've done it. It didn't pop up right away. The song is Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me by George Michael? I don't know who George Michael is. Who's George Michael?
He's a singer. Gotta Have Faith. Did he do?
Oh, George Michael. Oh, yeah, all right. The picture, he didn't look as sexy as he normally does, so there you go. All right.
Well, I wasn't thinking about having faith.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, that guy, George Michael. Was he like a lead singer of a different band, and then he like went on his own? Was he like a boy band that like...
Oof. I'm not too up on my George Michael knowledge as well. These are great questions.
Okay, all right.
People should write in with answers.
All right, there you go. So if you know more about George Michael's, I'd like to know. And the number 1 song, of course, is "I'm Too Sexy" by Right Said Fred.
And I'm too sexy for Milan, too sexy for Milan, New York and Japan.
There you go. One of the very few popular songs about male sexity? Not sexuality.
Sexiness?
Sexiness? Yeah, male sexiness. You just don't hear that very often.
Yeah, it's kind of I don't know. It's like, seems like such a topic that most people just don't sing about as male singers singing about how sexy they are.
Yeah. But again, February, like pretty close to 30 years ago, I listened to a podcast about 30 years ago, 10 years ago, and 20 years ago, 2010. I've been listening to it for a while. I'm just waiting for it to like roll over at this point. I kind of like hate listen once a week. There you go. There's a shout out to a different podcast. They literally just talked about this like week in history. That's amazing. Huh, cool. Anyways, so there you go. Now you know what the pop culture landscape. So if you're at least 30 years old, you were alive. If you're younger than that and you're listening to this, which is a very strong possibility, then there you go. Huh, cool, great.
Yeah. This is when I'm Too Sexy came out.
Yeah.
Landmark achievement in human history, everybody.
Right. George Michaels. Was he ever part of a group?
Yeah, he was part of Wham. I had to look it up too.
All right. Okay, cool. You know what, writers? You know what, listeners? You had a chance to contact us, but you screwed up and you didn't get it in time, and we both did it ourselves. So thanks for nothing.
Yeah, well, we can't rely on you. We got to do it ourselves.
Oh my gosh! Like it would take like 2 minutes. Give me a break.
Right? How long would that have taken for you to answer our question?
Come on now. But now we know what the pop cultural landscape looks like. Let's look at the development details of this fun game before we dive into the nitty-gritty of what is a weird Japanese series. So for this game, for this American game, Gomon and Ibitsumaru are named Kid Yang and Dr. Yang. Yin and Yang. Ha! This is the first game in the Goemon series to have a Western release. It was followed by the two N64 games, Mystical Ninja and Gomon's Great Adventure. Although both characters have different weapons and learn different attacks, they are functionally identical. The stages, known as Warlock Zones, are separated into two sections. The first section is exploring a town where the players can gather info, buy items, learn judo attacks, play video games, and earn money. The second stage is a platformer where the player must fight through minor enemies until they reach and defeat a boss. Well, you just did my job for me. Development details. Thanks a lot, jerk.
Yep. Well, it's pretty straightforward. Like, I mean, as a gameplay wise, like, I really think that this could have laid the template for a lot of 2D platformers, because it kind of does like a 2D platform, like from a view from the side and then 2D from the top. It's really really awesome and well done. I think that they did something awesome here, because it's kind of like a beat 'em up but mixed with platforming. It's a great fun little experience. I was really surprised at how awesome this was.
Yeah, no, it was one of those things. Yeah, it kind of, I don't know why I decided this game had to happen before the other. I think it's because I've arbitrarily played it a couple times.
Well, it's also kind of the first one that we would have been exposed to. I don't remember if we ever played this as kids.
I know we played Mystical Ninja. I know we have had Gomon, the Great Gomon, for N64, and I remember at some point I saw this game on like a ROMs list, downloaded it, played it through it a little bit. So like, I'm in emulator stage, so like 20, so we're looking like 15 years ago or something. Maybe I dove into it. So it was one of those things. I was like, you know what? I'd love to play Mystical Ninja in the future. It's a must for this game. I think that one really holds up. I'd like to be able to play the Great Gomon's Great Adventure, because I think I'd like to beat that game.
Yeah, but I think that one's maybe with two of us, we sit down.
Yeah,
we might be able to beat that one.
But like, you got to kind of do this like the series a favor. We like to look at retro games. Let's look at the first experience we would have had if we would have been kind of a bit more into the loop with video games right back in the day. And here we go. That's why we're here today. So
yeah, I also think that this is kind of a underlooked franchise and an underloved franchise, because essentially no love since N64.
Yeah. Well, so you think.
Oh, so I think. But I kind of just wish that there was more in the series, that this game would have been able to kind of flourish more, because I think that this is a really neat world, and I feel like would probably translate to like 3D games now probably really well. So what can we do?
I don't think there's any new 3D games, so there you go. Spoilers. Controls of this game. So A jumps, B attacks, the directional pad moves you around in an isometric town, and the platforming action sequences. You have primary weapons that have 3 levels that can be built upon by getting gray caps. Both characters have throwing weapons, either money or throwing stars or bombs, which can be purchased. There are 4 levels of judo attacks that you can earn. Level 1 produces an animal companion. Level 2 releases an attack that can damage all enemies. Level 3 gives you temporary flight. And level 4 unleashes a powerful, repetitive attack.
Yeah. Actually, the controls are super tight. Like, the diversity between the like kind of beat 'em up sections and the 2D platforming sections, I think, are well handled, and it doesn't feel like you're kind of you're getting overwhelmed. You can always kind of like just manage. And who would have figured just beating things up with a pipe like this? He's Gomon's kind of like from Half-Life with the crowbar. It's like maybe a pipe is slightly better. I don't know.
Jason Blackman. I don't think that's the guy's name.
Yeah, no.
What the heck? Who the heck's the guy from Half-Life?
Yeah, this is bad. I'm sorry, guys.
Half-Life protagonist.
Yeah, but I think
Gordon Freeman.
Oh, okay, there you go.
I'll be honest with you. I've never played Half-Life or Half-Life 2, so that's my excuse.
Well, I have, so that's my bad. And I will have to. Maybe that's another series we'll get there when we get there. So
yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, the fact that we like are just dabbling slightly in like N64, but like we still have a backlog of the Super Nintendo. We probably won't get to the PlayStation.
Yeah, it'll be a long time there, everybody. So don't hold your breath. But back to Gomon or Mystical Ninja. I think that this game is just like super cute and has an amazing aesthetic. Like it's such a fun little world, and I just exploring it it could have been easily such a pain in the butt, but nothing feels cheap. So
all right, but first memories. We did talk about this briefly once on an emulator. Spent more time with N64 games. Did you ever remember playing this? Did you have like a weird friend that had it back in the day?
No, I have no experience to this at all. First time playing through it. I knew it always was a thing, but I'm like, I'll get around to it when I get around to it. So here I am, happy that I actually dove in, because this game is, I think, super underrated, and I wish I would have got exposed to it more as a kid, because it's fun and like it's linear, but not in a bad way.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's linear, but not in a bad way. So the story of this fun title. So the player controls Goemon, loosely inspired by the historical Goemon and Abitsumaru. The two are called Kid Ying and Dr. Yang, respectively, the non-Japanese release of this game. After noticing some odd occurrences in their hometown of Oedo, involving a ghost woman at a local temple and ghost animals that come from the temple at night, Goemon and Abitsumaru decide to investigate.
Yeah, it's a cute little back and forth between them. Abitsumaru is very, like, kind of a creepy old man, but he's hilarious. It's got like dad humor. I think it's I think playing 2-player, we didn't get plans to play co-op at all, because this is one of those games that does actually allow co-op, which is, man, I think would have been a blast. Like, this is everything you want in a game. So
yeah, for like the level of quality that this little unknown old Super Nintendo game, this like rare find, we definitely could have done a better service by playing it together. I'm sure there's a way we could set up maybe like a server or something and run an emulator and like share it, but then not only are we coordinating a time to record, but we're also recording several hours to like sit and play a game together. Yep.
And this is why people who have sponsored channels, all live in the same vicinity. So
yeah, that's it. It's hard when you live like, we just drive down once a week to see each other. It's only like 7 hours of driving round trip, so that's not bad.
Yeah, only 7 hours.
Only 7 hours. So, all right. So, onto the level notes. This is our Let's Play section of this game. We kind of talk about our experience, go through, give you a hint. It's not a hint. It's meant to be like kind of a refreshing section if you haven't been in for a while. And we hope to hit on all the cool, fun stuff. So, level 1, Warlock Zone 1, Mystical Ghost. Ooh, that sounds scary. You start in a little town. Avoid the Fishman. If you walk right and north, everyone will turn into a ghost. And I found them easier to kill compared to the regular enemies. You can also stop in shops to buy sandals and pizza. And if you didn't head back to town, head left and you will find an adventure level. Here you have to do some simple platforming while fighting some flames, skeletons, and umbrellas. The boss here is Ghost Woman. You can hit her plates back at her, and after she dies, a cat comes out, gives you $100, and tells you to get on a boat.
Yeah, and you get your choice of how you get there. Which option did you choose, Mick? Did you choose the cheapest option, the most expensive, or the middle option?
I think I went with generally the cheapest. So I was in this like little, basically they gave me a barrel and a paddle. I had to paddle across the sea.
Yeah, and then Abitsumaru rides the shark after you. It's awesome. I love the humor in this game, and this first little section I appreciate, and I think that the way it works with your health and the kind of power-ups works is fair. And I like that the yo-yo is kind of like the ultimate weapon, but sometimes the pipe is just faster. So It's not like it's a real downgrade, but having the extra range is nice, especially when you're trying to hit the flying bouncing plates, because it essentially just turns into like a little mini game of like hit these pipes, and it's kind of like put Brick Breaker all of a sudden. It's awesome.
Yeah, and that is an interesting just gameplay mechanic, right? Where they basically have to create this game so that you can beat it without any upgrade. Any upgrade that you get just enhances your experience, right? Because they don't want to kind of handicap the player by like not being able to afford something or like having to grind something out. Although there is a little bit of like money grinding later on in this game, but it's kind of an interesting mechanic, right? Which versus Mario power-ups, do they do that? I guess a Fire Flower just adds to the experience, right? Like you can beat the whole game as small Mario, but then you're have a greater challenge of hit. So it kind of has that more of that Mario style upgrade system rather than like a Zelda style where it's mandatory.
Yeah, I also just think it's a little bit more forgiving because it's like you kind of get like the 3 levels, and it's as opposed to just the 2. But it's like you can get these upgrades, but you don't have to like go out of your way and try to die just so you can kind of get at these the little gray cats. So
yeah. Nice.
It's a good balance.
Yeah, all right. So on to the Warlock Zone 2, Statue of a Cat. The town is a bit bigger. You have to buy some armor, and you can play a few more mini games. I could not tell you the exact direction on this one. After a few screens, though, you will find 8 guys dancing around a stage. After defeating them, you head right to a boss fight, which is Lantern Man. You have to attack and destroy his lanterns, but you have to do them in kind of a specific pattern. You have to destroy all the kind of the outer shell, and then you can destroy the inner shell before you battle him head on. You destroy his lanterns before he's defeated, and you save a cat. Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah, well, there's cats everywhere in this game, and it's adorable. This boss is kind of challenging, but if you just kind of like don't rush in and kind of just fight on the outside, it's not so bad. It's kind of a...
Does he even have, like, unless my memory fails me, does he have projectiles, or can you just stand on the side and launch coins at him to defeat him?
I think I had the yo-yo, so I just kind of jumped on the outside.
Okay.
But you know what? I feel like you probably could. The bosses in this game sometimes aren't very hard. So
yeah. All right. So on to Warlock Zone 3, Amusement Park. So this area is very short. You can spend a lot of time playing through mini games, or you can just run to the bridge at the far end of town. You can run past all the enemies on the bridge. There's big octopus, and then you finish the level. Hooray!
Yeah. It's kind of like reminded me of, for some reason, the Casino Nights zone in Sonic 2. So I was like, weird that these games came out at the same time.
That's strange. What's like the story of this is that you get a ghost, you go to explore a ghost sends you to save a cat who's been kidnapped by a gang or something, and now we're like headed to like infiltrate the gang's something to get something. Is that right?
Yeah, I think there's some other things with the stuff.
Okay, all right. Well, as long as we're clearing this up for everybody, that's the important thing. So.
Yeah, it's not one of those like I don't think the story kind of just drops off. Like essentially, they go investigating this ghost woman, and then I guess they just meet this cat and tells them to go check out the amusement park. But once you don't you save a cat after you beat the octopus? Doesn't he jump out and tell you where to go next?
I hope so. Otherwise, I have no idea. But I know that we have to go to Warlock Zone 4. We defeat Otafu. So once again, we started a town. We can explore / buy equipment. Our goal is to enter the Otafu army's base. So we probably that probably has something to do with the plot. The temple will rotate, and there's some really tough platforming. The boss here is a giant head. So you have to fight 2 sumos. Then a giant face shows up and has 2 stages. The first one, it just kind of reassembles after each hit. And the second one, it grows after each hit, so it gets really big and fills the whole screen and can damage you that way. You save a woman. All right, so we saved a woman, which is nice. And she says, oh, you should definitely go see a wise man.
Yeah. What's this character's name? I
don't know, because is it the girl?
Yeah,
the
is it Yay? Is it Yay that you save?
Yeah. So the female ninja freelance assassin girl who becomes a playable character in one of the later titles.
Yes, very exciting that she kind of gets her introduction in this one. So, yeah, this is kind of where we meet our first non-playable character, sort of, or recurring character besides the cats. So
I think she comes back, get the jail at the end or something. So gotcha. So it's a good thing we saved her from this army. So then we head to Warlock Zone 5, Ninja Castle. We start in the village. We can enter a tower that has some really tough platforming. The wise man is protected by a little robot guy, Sasuke, and he sends us to see to another land via a cannon. I really like the little robot guy. I'm excited to play him in the next game in the series.
Yeah, and this is kind of a cool area because it's a little more vertical 2D platforming as opposed to everything else, which has been much more horizontal, just like exploring left and right. This kind of has some tricky platforming. I want to say there's like some bowling balls.
Yeah, like they're weird. They're kind of what's that called?
Like pendulums.
Yeah, that's what they remind me of, pendulums, or that like those perpetual motion machines, those balls that kind of move around.
Yeah.
Right? And they're all arms. They kind of look like Impact. So he's this big robot that appears in the next game, and he's got kind of like ball arms. And I don't know how else to describe them. So like they're not joints, they're just like a bunch of series of balls with like a big orange hand, and that's what all the kind of hands look like in this tower as you climb up. So
yeah. It's an interesting level. I think that it makes sense because it's a castle, so it's going to be very short and narrow, and if you're infiltrating things, it's vertical. So I like the reasoning behind it. It's very cool.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. After we get shot from our cannon, I don't know why we're going, but the wise man, who's like apparently is an inventor, he invents little robots and big robots. What a guy. Warlock Zone 6. We go to Tengu Mountain. So the next area we have to spend $1,200 on a mountain pass? Are you kidding me? What is this? Capitalist world? To enter the action stage, you have to traverse a mountain. There are some neat waterfall sections where you can kind of go behind the waterfall. It gives you the different platforms and a boss. It's a warrior who shoots flower petals from his backpack.
Yeah, this is kind of a interesting kind of area. I don't really remember this spot too much, so I feel like I was probably watching some TV while playing this game. Yeah, I don't remember the one boss. I think is this Kabuki or what heck, the Kabuki person with the big old mask.
No, that was the other guy, the guy with the big face.
Oh,
right?
That's yeah.
This guy's like, I don't know, he's just a guy, he has like a backpack, and he like jumps in the air, and there's like flower petals. And he jumps again, and you have to hit him. I don't know.
Yeah, don't really remember this guy very much.
Right.
Obviously wasn't very memorable.
Alright, perfect, because Warlock Zone 7, so we have to go White Mirror. So the mountain path was just a random path, and the guy at the end was just a jerk who's like, you can't pass. That's a common, I think, in like Japanese folklore. Like, you go on paths, and there's a guy who's like, you can't pass unless you defeat me. Alright, cool. You can explore the next city, and then visit the Dragon Pond. You have to platform over some water. You can jump in it, but don't stay too long, and the boss here is a dragon. And if you can kind of get just like under him, behind him, you essentially just aim up and hit his head, and he dies. And he tells you that the princess is, and then we take off to go save her.
Oh yeah, we fight Falcor at this point. Yep. From the Neverending Story.
Oh, everyone knows who Falcor is, right? Right, audience?
Yeah, maybe there's some people out there that don't, but yeah, it's pretty, like, it's nice to actually be able to fight a dragon in one of these games, because I feel like is there one in the N64 one? Yeah,
well, you fight on a dragon.
Oh, that's what it is. What it is.
Before he becomes your fast travel, you have to like get rid of the little robot that's on his back. So.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Right.
Good. So I'm glad you remember these things.
Yeah. I play through this game, except the last time I couldn't figure out how to get the flaming coins, so I ended up at the ghost temple and couldn't open the door or something. Gave up, but occasionally I play Mystical Ninja. I played Mystical Ninja probably like once every 2 years and just get stuck somewhere and then never look it up on a walkthrough and just quit. So it's great.
Yeah, that's why I like this game. It's very linear and it's straightforward, and it varies its gameplay. So you don't need to worry about getting lost. You just kind of go right or up.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so Warlock Zone 8, Save the Princess. So we are in a city, and we have to find an emperor, so he can tell us to check behind a statue. Smart. We can then enter an enemy base. There's an awesome elevator part, I think that's like sarcasm. And the boss here is Candy Tower. So you have to jump on his base and then kind of hit his head back, and then you fall down a pit and do some platforming, and then another boss, the big robot that rocks back and forth. And then you save the princess and are thrown in prison.
Yeah. This guy reminds me of like those like dolls and dolls and dolls.
Russian nesting doll?
Yeah, for some reason. I know he's like...
Yeah, he's kind of like a
closer.
stack. He's like a stack of wine gums. And he kind of shoots across the screen, and you just jump on top of the platforms. And then the head, one with eyes, as he comes towards you, hit it, and like it yo-yos across the screen. And you basically just hit it till it dies, and then hit the next wine gum. So
yeah, it's kind of a really easy boss. But apparently this guy... Like, is it this guy that kidnapped the princess? I'm so confused.
It's someone like the what's the bad guy? There's like a bad guy in the next one. I don't know if I wrote Shogun or something, and he's just like working for him. And the big robot, I just kind of stood on the platform, like aimed up, and he died. I think he like maybe rocks back. I don't know. It's not a very super tough game, or it can be really tough. I don't know.
Yeah, this game's... I think maybe one of its drawbacks is its difficulty is too easy.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad thing. I think that it's really approachable.
Oh,
like, this would be one of those games where, like, if you did pick this up and rent it in the store, I could see why you would love it. Because you could almost sit down and beat it in one weekend.
So let's say we had this game. It's a weird game in your collection. You got SWAT Cats, you got Spawn, you got this, and you got Zelda. How frequently are you turning to this compared to the other ones? Because I'm thinking this is probably second, right? Like, I'm probably playing Zelda the most. But when I'm taking a break from Zelda, I'm probably playing this over Spawn, right? You know, like one of those, like, just games that are too difficult. Just for difficulty's
or like
sake.
SWAT Cats.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. No, definitely like a lot of those not generic, just really ridiculously not fun games. This is one of those games where, I don't know, it gives me like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle vibes,
Yes.
like Turtles in Time because of the beat 'em up sections, but also has like an adventure to it. So I feel like I would play this a lot, especially with the cute cats and the power ups and the yo-yo. Like yo-yos were so popular back in the day. Like like they made another one that was like yo-yo varieties. They probably could have made a sponsorship tie-in, and we all would have
Yo-yos
bought
were
it.
popular back in the day. Are yo-yos still popular? Or do you think they come in
sure.
phases?
Yeah. It's like anything. It's
Like there's
it's like
one kid in
Alf.
your school that can do a yo-yo trick where he's got like two yo-yos and they like wrap together, and he has this like crazy cat's cradle, and then he like rolls them all back in his hand, and that's about it. So like they're not that popular, but like kind of popular.
Yeah, I think they were like just that generation's like I would say like fidget spinner, but it's like just like something to just do or mess around with like while you're bored and like just trapped in school. Because I mean, most kids don't want to sit in the class all day, so it's kind of just like you need something to do. That was just that generation's thing for a while was yo-yos, or maybe it was Big Yo-Yo trying to sell yo-yos down their throat, because maybe they were just called something else before that until the big company.
Much like
Yo-Yo.
Kleenex has kind of taken over the facial tissue market.
Exactly.
Son
exactly.
of a bitch. God damn it. For everything we did for them. All right.
This is how they repay us.
So after Warlock Zone 9, final story, we can break out of prison. I think Ye helps us, and not Kanye, the girl named Ye. Wait, is her name Ye? You looked it up. I already forget.
It's Ye.
Ye. So
Y-A-E.
Kanye comes and saves us. That's amazing. Breaks us out of prison. We visit the active stores that run in the jail, because why not? The ruler of Ito also is here, and he tells us about a secret exit. So we go back to our cell, and then we can get to the final action part. So we have to battle through a town that is just full of enemies. We climb through the sky to reach a floating castle, because of course the castle is floating. And there's a boss rush. We have to fight the Lantern Man again, and then the big sumo face. And then finally, the Shogun. He's a warrior on a beast, and by shooting arrows, you kind of hit it, and then the beast dies, and then it's just him, and then you hit him, and he dies. And the ending is the old man, who is controlling, he's just a little guy, but he's controlling the big Shogun monster, is defeated. We rescue the princess, and then we see the credits. Amazing.
Yeah. It's very... I love boss rushes in games, and this is awesome, because I feel like at this point, you kind of feel... like your skills have progressed enough where doing like beating the Lantern Man and like the sumo face, not like, yeah, they're kind of tricky bosses, but if you know the pattern, you're like, you can almost do them without taking any damage. So it kind of like almost like it's a challenge, but it can build up your confidence to kind of go into the final battle. And yeah, I love like the animation and everything with the arrows. It actually it's pretty well done. And then I remember it's Oedo Lord, Oedo Lord.
Okay, I think that's from Oedo or something.
Yeah, and he just like this got these goofy little mustache. I pulled up a picture of him.
Nice.
And you're like, yes, I remember this guy. This is the big boss in the game. I forgot.
Of course.
Yes, this guy.
Silly. Yeah, that is it. So, ending. I scrolled too far. I can't see it. Oh wait, I already read that. Current thoughts. Not the best game we ever played. Wow, what a negative statement. It's an old action-adventure platforming game. A lot of personality. My nostalgia for the later games definitely is why I played this game, right? Maybe why I think fondly of it, because I kind of look and I'm like, oh yeah, it's kind of cute, right? Great aesthetics, right art design, sprite work, super nice. If I didn't have a previous history with the series, though, and you just threw this game at me, I think this game would be really hard to get into, right? It isn't my cup of tea right now. And then I did hate that you needed money to pass certain parts. There was 2 parts you had to buy. I forget what the second one was, but there was 2 things.
Mountain Pass,
and there was something else that you needed. Like it was a cap on the game, and you couldn't go unless you paid someone a certain amount or bought a certain item, right? Those were kind of like the only 2 grindy bits. Other than that, the game was kind of simple and short. So
yeah, and I feel like now that we live in an age of walkthrough, this is easy, like super easy. But playing through it as a kid, you'd probably be like a little frustrated and confused at some points, and probably just get stuck playing mini games for way too long. But yeah, it definitely isn't the best game we've ever played. It's not probably going to go on my top 10 list, but it's a fun, really good game. Like, I think this is a good, like, I'm happy that we played it, because we kind of now going and playing Mystical Ninja and the Great Goemon. It's going to be a lot of, it's kind of nice to like have that exposure, so when we replay those, it'll be like, oh, now I kind of get this reference, or know that this person's a callback to that other thing. But the other games get so much more crazy. This game's a pretty by the numbers adventure, but with a little bit of humor mixed in, so it's good. It's just like not the most perfect, amazing game in the entire world. I like it a lot, though. So.
Yeah, it's similar to that vein of, say, like Disney Afternoon Collection, right? Like a Chippendales game. You kind of go in, you maybe have a previous history, you play it, and you're like, man, that wasn't terrible. There was parts that were maybe unfair or something, right? But like save states and rewind kind of fixes that. So it's probably a similar comparison, right? Like it's better than Earthworm Jim.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at a list of games that we played and trying to like figure out a comparisons.
Yeah. Well, we definitely played a lot of worse games. I can look into you, Ghosts and Goblins. But this, like this game, for what it is, it's a really not. It's like an 8 out of 10 or whatever, a 9 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's definitely a good game. So.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, cool. What would I change? So if you could change something, what would you do? Much like we talked about while we were playing, I would make the story just a little bit more concisive, because I'm not really sure what exactly we accomplished.
Yeah, I was kind of just running right and up.
Yeah.
And moving up. So it was, the story could definitely be a lot more expanded. And I think that they run with that in Mystical Ninja, because I feel like that game is crazy, and I can't wait to get into some mechs and start fighting stuff.
Yeah. Impact! Cool.
Yes. Priceless.
And the crazy songs that they sing. All right. How about a final, are you buying it? So I got nothing. Could not find a single comment online about this game, this series. Good game picking by us. No one cares about it. Well, maybe we care. And that's it. That ends the review. So I think we're both having positive experiences, right? Like better than... It probably
expected. Yeah. Definitely better than expected. Like I expected this game to be kind of a slog, and I was like, oh, hopefully game isn't bad. But like playing this after Final Fantasy VIII, it's like, wow, this game I'm enjoying myself. Yeah. It's light, it's easy, it's a breeze. Like the story doesn't make sense, but Neither does some other games, and those other games
It's
were a lot
similar
longer.
to like Metroid. So going back again, Metroid 2 for the Game Boy, right? A game that I had previous experience with a series, went in, was like, oh wow, this is great. Would I play it again? Maybe in the future. Like, I'm not going to go to my way to play it right away, but like, definitely would be tempted to play it again. Had a positive experience, but I'm not going to like pencil it in as like a future play date, right? So
Yeah, and something that, if you came across it at, like a used game store, but like, if for a reasonable price, you're like, yeah, I might grab this because I know it's a good game and I wouldn't mind having it in the collection. So
solid, nice. So all we got to do is a cultural significance. So I was gonna thinking ahead already because I'm a galaxy brainer and I like to think forward. We're going to talk maybe more about the specific parts of Japanese culture in Mystical Ninja. But today we're going to look about the Great Goemon series. So in this section, cultural significance, that is, we look at stories, tropes, and marketing tactics. We talk about how this game compares, give other examples, tie it all back together in the end. What a cohesive sentence that I read off all the time. I don't think I do any of those things. So the Ganbare Goemon series is pretty popular in Japan. This character is loosely based on Ishikawa Goemon, the noble thief of Japanese folklore, similar to Link and Peter Pan. What? It's kind of crazy, right?
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
So
Dubson has the green different color palette, but I could see it.
yeah, it's just kind of his less popular Legend of Zelda series. I don't know. I guess this one takes more. It's like set in Japan, and he lives in Japan versus Hyrule's its own thing, so not Neverland. All right, so this game started as a video game and morphed into a manga series and an anime. Neat. So the manga ran from 1991 until about 1998 and has been re-released or restarted in 2013. The anime has 2 episodes. The first one is in 1993, and the second one was released in 1998. So I don't think it's very popular.
Wow, what a time gap! Holy moly! And some people complain about like Rick and Morty's or South Park's time in between seasons. It's like, wow, that's in between episodes.
Yeah, I was like, that's just the second episode. So like, you watch the first one, and he's like, "Will I ever get dinner?" And then 5 years later, he's like, "I did get dinner."
And then, I can't wait for episode 3. It's like currently 2022. Holy moly, this one's got to be an epic.
Holding out
Like
hope.
he probably walks his dog after dinner.
Oh my god. There have been 23 video games released in the series, not including the 7 spin-off games.
I was gonna say, excuse me, I thought we had 3.
So there's 20 that you don't know about.
Well, shoot.
All right, but I mean, on the plus side, North America's only seen 3. This game,
Wow.
Mystical Ninja, starring Goemon, and the Great Goemon for the N64.
Well, you know what? At least I'm not out of the loop in North America.
Yeah, like
so.
you're literally on par with every other North American, those fat, ignorant, capitalist swines. So, good job.
Yeah.
Whoa,
And
wait a second. I love North America.
Well, we live here.
Yeah, of course.
We can bash on ourselves.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
okay.
Yeah, fuck us.
Like maple syrup and hamburgers for every dinner. Like we're North Americans.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so I've now broken it down. So by console, the arcade, there was 1. I think that was the first one. The Nintendo or Famicom has 4. The Super Nintendo or Super Famicom have 4. The Game Boy has 2. The Game Boy Color has 3. The PlayStation has 3. The N64 had 2. There were 2 mobile release games, and last but not least, the Game Boy Advance and DS each had 1 game released on them.
What the heck's about these 3 PlayStation ones? Like this, what is this backstabbery? Only to come back for the DS? That's such a weird series.
Yeah. I definitely pulled up a video too and was like watching like a PlayStation let's play. It looks like a weird thing. I don't know why it didn't come over here. I mean, it was all in, it like has cutscenes and there's lots of talking, but it was all in Japanese, so
Localization is expensive.
yeah. But that's it. So there you go. Goemon. What a weird series that apparently is. That's definitely not popular in North America.
Yeah, it didn't seem to take off, but I think it's underrated. And hey, if you got the opportunity to go play this game, check it out. Like it's a decent afternoon if you got a Sunday to kill or whatever, and it's a nice little retro game experience if you've never tried it. So I give it a thumbs up. I like it.
And like he looks so weird in the games. Like he has this weird like red makeup around his eyes, and he has this big head. And like him and a Beat tomorrow look like cartoon characters, but like Ye looks like a normal person. Strange.
Oh, now I gotta see this.
But just like look at pictures of him. I just typed in like Goemon. I'm looking at images right now. And like doesn't he become like a Super Saiyan at some point? Because he's got like spooky blue hair, and you can like turn him yellow at some point.
Yeah. Well, he also was I don't know with the gold hair, but he was in. He got a skin in Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Okay.
So he's in that. If you're a big fan, so let's give him one more. Put him on the board for 4 for North America, everybody.
Goemon. Oh yeah. Huh. Cool. Goemon. Gold hair? That's weird. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he psychs up. He becomes super strong. He gets yellow hair, and he can push a block around, just like a Super Saiyan.
He's literally a Super Saiyan. Like and he even like charges up. Like
yeah.
Like this is Dragon Ball Z.
Everything in Japan is just the same thing.
It just ripped off. Huh. Whoever came up with this first should have really copyrighted this.
Sonic.
Copyright law.
Sonic. He did it first, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Well, dang. Should have copyrighted it.
Oh well. Suck it, Sega. I'm sure you did fine with your life, and you don't regret any decisions you made, so.
Yeah. Like, so far in the current context, you're still making games.
Yeah.
You're still making hardware. You know, people still like you.
People know what a Saturn's going to be, and like they definitely are going to be all over the... What was the weird one with the weird controller? Sega... How come my memory sucks today? I must be tired. Dreamcast. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I only know these things because I want every one of them.
Yeah, I know. It's like one of those things. I'm like, if I ever came to a bunch of money, I'd probably just waste it. So I'm glad I'm poor.
Oh, I would probably just like buy a bunch of things and then be like, it's a museum. Pay me to see come into my house and look at my museum.
That's a good idea. I guess
that's what I would do.
I guess museum curators were just like original collectors of stuff, right?
Yeah, essentially.
They were just like they just had better like business sense.
Yeah, and I mean, you call it a non-for-profit, and then you get to write off some of the expenses just for operating, of course.
Cool.
Yeah, like, hey, it's one of those things where I wouldn't. It's not the worst idea I've ever came up with, but yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna think of something funny like cat pants. Remember how that one failed?
Hey, it's coming back.
They couldn't figure how to get them off when they pooped. So they just said poop in their cat pants. It was the worst.
What's this off of?
I just made it up.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Well, should trademark that as we were talking about trademarks. So.
There you go. Cat pants. There must be a trademark existing.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, sweet. So that ends the show. Short, sweet. Huh, there you go.
I think we nailed it.
It makes sense. Didn't take that long to play, so it shouldn't take that long to talk about. So.
No, and it's not like this game... It's not like we even made a big deal about the narrative. It's kind of like, it's a thing.
I don't even know what happened. What's the thing?
Yeah, it's like... And you don't need to. That's the beautiful thing. When the gameplay works, you don't care about the story. But when the gameplay's broken, that story better be good. Mm-hmm. Or help you.
That's it. Yeah. So, cool. So with that ends our show. Did we miss anything?
Not that I'm aware of. Everybody knows that they got some... We got some special stuff coming up. Yeah. Branching out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I think so. Yeah, again, our schedule is like... It's a little herky-jerky, right? It's not super set in stone. But yeah, we got some fun specials. I mean, I guess at this point, 2 weeks away, we're looking at some old X-Men games. I think specifically on the Sega system, speaking of Sega, for the next little bit. So if you played along with us for some reason, I don't know why you would. But if you did, X-Men. Maybe watch some X-Men cartoons, play the X-Men Genesis games. That'll get you through the next couple months. It's pretty exciting. Yeah.
Well, I mean, follow us on Instagram, and I think you're on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Mick will post some like, hey, this is the episode, a picture of the episode while he's watching it. So you can kind of tune into what's coming if you want to keep track of that. So it'd be a good time. I think we both love X-Men. Mm-hmm. I actually, if anyone's kind of interested, there's a bunch of X-Men reboots currently going on this year. So you want to jump in some first issues? They're like they restart all the time, but it's like, yeah. So
nice.
Just a heads up.
Sweet. Before they get into that MCU money and they become really popular, we're trying to be hipsters right now. We're like an X-Men before they were cool.
Oh, for sure. We're calling this now because when they start releasing the Cyclops TV series, which is a thing already.
Really?
In the works. Yep. That's like Summer Chronicles of Psylocke or Cyclops or something. So that's coming down the pipe. I'm sure it'll be released 2024, but it's coming.
Nice.
And as long as it's halfway decent, us X-Men fans will be...
Yeah. Cyclops
we'll
Chronicles, the story of Scott Summers.
Right? They stole our Breath of the Wild Chronicles, Nick.
Son of a
They
gun.
stole our naming thing. Should have trademarked it.
Who did I steal it from?
I don't know, but they should have trademarked it.
Who's owns this rights? Like, who's doing this? Is it Disney? Has to be.
Has to be. They probably like licensed it out, but like I'm assuming it's gonna go to Disney Plus because I know that they're so. Everybody's probably stopped listening at this point, but like I know like on the Disney side of things, because they've wrapped up the like kind of phases of the Marvel and Avengers. What they're looking to do next is like now that they own the X-Men, they can just bring in the X-Men, start making the X-Men. And the reason why they don't get a big push is because nothing that Disney has made has been X-Men, so they have to pay royalties, like heavier royalties, as opposed to just like make it themselves, and then they get to like have 100% of it. So you'll probably see a lot more X-Men toys and next stuff like in the next little bit.
Oh.
So assume by probably 2024, 25, calling this now. Yep, we'll have way more X-Men TV shows and stuff coming.
All right, so I mean, before we spread false rumors on the internet, Cyclops Chronicles is an unofficial, unauthorized fan-based series based on the Marvel comic character and has been produced for entertainment purposes only.
Oh, well, then there you go. I can stuff it.
I was gonna say, because I was like, this guy looks kind of generic. And
it looked super jank. That's why I was like, are we getting another like what was the other one,
like X-Men
Alpha
Origins,
X or Gen X? They always like to throw X in there and put another word with it. It was
the 90s.
There's been a few of them.
It was the 90s.
I've stopped watching at this point. I'm just like, yeah, if it's good, it's good. If it's not, I'll get around to it.
All right, cool. So there we go. Add some sound effects, truncate some silences. We'll be under an hour. Nice. Good old short April.
Yeah. We'll take it.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. With that, I think we say bye, get out of here, and see you guys in a couple weeks where we get to talk about X-Men. Hooray.
Yep. See you, everybody.
Okay, bye.